Will they understand my American dream? The customs officer at Lahore's Allama Iqbal International Airport squinted at my passport like it was written in ancient Sumerian. Behind me, a queue of irritated travelers shifted their weight, sighing audibly. I'd been standing at this counter for 17 minutes, watching the officer flip through my passport with the kind of theatrical suspicion usually reserved for magic shows. You have been to America 47 times in 3 years, he asked, his mustache twitching. Business, I said, which was technically true if you considered my business to be smuggling dreams across borders in modified smartphone cases. He stamped my passport with the enthusiasm of a man stamping his own execution order and waved me through. I grabbed my single carry-on bag, everything I owned fit in 23 kilograms, and headed for the exit, ready to explain to my family why I'd returned home after 12 years abroad with nothing but a bag of clothes and a business plan that would either make me a millionaire or get me arrested. My brother Kashif was waiting outside, leaning against his dented Honda Civic like he was posing for an album cover nobody asked for. "Bye," he shouted, crushing me in a hug that smelled of too much cologne and desperation. "You look American." I looked tired. "Same thing." He grabbed my bag and threw it in the trunk, which closed only after 3 attempts and a well-placed kick. MI has been cooking for 2 days. I think she's prepared enough food to feed Lahore. The drive through Lahore's evening traffic was like watching a real-time demonstration of chaos theory. Motorcycles carrying entire families wove between cars. A donkey cart loaded with construction materials blocked half the road while the owner argued with someone on his phone. Street vendors sold roasted corn to drivers stuck at red lights. Above it all, massive billboards advertised everything from skin-whitening creams to political parties promising to fix everything wrong with everything. "So," Kashif said, narrowly avoiding a rickshaw that appeared out of nowhere like a 3-wheeled apparition, "are you going to tell me why you're really back? Because MI thinks you got fired, Abu thinks you got sick, and I think you did something illegal. Why would you think that? Because you're my brother, and I know you." He wasn't wrong. We'd grown up in a modest house in Model Town, sharing a bedroom until I left for America on a student visa at 22. Kashif had stayed behind, gotten married, had 2 kids, and settled into the kind of comfortable middle-class existence that I'd spent 12 years running from. He worked as a systems administrator at a bank, wore the same 3 button-down shirts on rotation, and had never questioned whether this was all there was to life. I had questioned it constantly. "I didn't do anything illegal," I said. "I had an idea." "Oh no. It's a good idea. That's what you said about the biodegradable phone cases. Those would have worked if people actually cared about the environment. And the app that translated Urdu poetry into emoji. Ahead of its time." Kashif laughed, which turned into a cough because Lahore's air quality was approximately that of a chimney. "So what's the idea this time?" I pulled out my phone and opened the app I'd been developing for the past 18 months. On the screen was something that looked like a normal social media interface, but with one crucial difference: every post, every photo, every video was tagged with metadata about the American dream. "I call it Dream Tracker," I said. "It's an app that helps people immigrate to America by crowdsourcing information about the entire process. Visa requirements, job opportunities, housing, cultural differences, everything. But here's the brilliant part: users earn credits by contributing accurate information, and they can spend those credits to get personalized advice from people who've already made the journey." Kashif glanced at the phone, then back at the road, then at me. "So it's like Yelp for immigration. It's like Wikipedia meets LinkedIn meets a support group, but for achieving the American dream. That's either genius or insane. Can't it be both?" We pulled up to the house, which looked exactly as I remembered: pale yellow walls, iron gate, my mother's prized rose bushes that she protected with the ferocity of a dragon guarding treasure. Before we could even get out of the car, the front door burst open and my mother emerged like a tornado made of pure joy and relief. "Arman. Beta. You're so thin. Are they not feeding you in America?" I'm fine." But she was already pulling me inside, simultaneously hugging me and lamenting my weight loss to the neighborhood. My father appeared from his study, reading glasses perched on his nose, wearing the same cardigan he'd owned for 20 years. "Welcome home, son," he said, shaking my hand formally because Pakistani fathers of his generation didn't do hugs. "You look successful." I didn't feel successful. I felt like a 34-year-old man who'd just quit his 6-figure job at a tech company in San Francisco to chase an idea that everyone he knew had told him was crazy. I'd burned through most of my savings developing Dream Tracker, and I had maybe 6 months of runway before I'd have to admit defeat and go crawling back to Silicon Valley with my tail between my legs. But I couldn't tell them that. Dinner was a festival of food: biryani, karahi, raita, salad, naan, and at least 4 different desserts. My mother kept piling more onto my plate despite my protests. My father asked polite questions about America that suggested he'd never quite understood what I did for a living. Kashif's wife Sanaa arrived with their kids, who didn't remember me and looked at me like I was a friendly stranger bearing gifts from a magical land. So when are you going back? My father asked, carefully casual. I'm not sure, I said. I'm actually here to work on something new. This got everyone's attention. 20 eyes. I forgot to mention my sister Hira had also appeared, bringing her husband and their teenage daughter, locked onto me with varying degrees of curiosity and concern. I took a deep breath and launched into my pitch. I told them about the idea, about the market research I'd done, about the hundreds of messages I received every month from people in Pakistan asking me how I'd made it to America, what the secret was, how they could do the same. I told them about the broken immigration system, the visa backlogs, the consultants who charged thousands of dollars for useless advice. I told them about my vision of democratizing the American dream, making it accessible to anyone with determination and an internet connection. When I finished, there was silence. My father spoke first. You gave up your job for this. It's an investment in the future. The future of what? Helping people leave Pakistan. Helping people achieve their dreams, I corrected. Whether that's in America or anywhere else. My mother looked like she might cry. We didn't raise you to leave us and then convince others to leave too. Am I? That's not what this is. It sounds like you're running a business of breaking families apart, my sister Hira said, her voice sharp. Do you know how hard it is here? First you leave, then Kashif's cousin leaves, then everyone with any talent leaves, and those of us who stay behind are left to what? Water the plants. The table erupted in overlapping conversations. My father questioned the business model. My mother worried about my lack of a wife. Kashif tried to defend me while simultaneously looking skeptical. Hira's husband, who worked in government, suggested the whole thing might be illegal. It wasn't, I'd checked. Their daughter asked if she could get a free account. I excused myself and went to the rooftop. The Lahore night sky was orange tinted from light pollution, but you could still see a few stars if you squinted. I could